And tell us what you can. What's the latest? When did you last have a conversation with the administrators, and what have they told you?
I've just come off the phone with them actually 5 minutes ago. So, listen, where we're at, there's no big update I can give you. Obviously, it's well documented. There's been an extension of another month. So that's really it. I can give you, if I'm being honest, in terms of any information, I think it's on them to update. But that's where I'm at. That's all I know. And that there'll be no players leaving.
Right. Okay. So is that month delay a good thing or a bad thing, as far as you're concerned, from the manager's perspective?
I don't know, actually. Could look at it both ways, but no. Listen, I think the important thing is this club gets sorted out, and if it needs to take another month to make sure we do that, then it's a good thing from that point of view. But still being in the unknown and unclear what lies ahead in the future is a difficult period, difficult place to be in.
Are they any closer to satisfying the EFL's demands for proof of funding for the rest of the season? Do you know?
I honestly couldn't answer that. I couldn't tell you. I'm not really sure whether they're any closer, whether they're further away. I really don't know that.
And would you give us the same answer if I asked you about announcing a preferred bidder? Then they haven't given you any indication of how close that is either.
No, not really. I think what's well documented is Middlesbrough and Wycombe. The claims they've made is a real stumbling block. So it needs sorting out quickly.
Would you make an appeal to Middlesbrough and to Wycombe to help Derby out here and either drop those claims or make serious mitigation?
Listen, I don't think that's my job to make appeals to them. I think that's what the administrators are in here for, to try and get everything sorted. I know the administrators spoke to the MPs. I know they spoke to the EFL. So I just think a sensible conversation needs to be had to make sure that it gets sorted and there's a solution there.
Look, I'm sorry I'm pressing you on this because I know you haven't got a great deal of information yourself, but 3 days ago the EFL said there'd been positive developments, but that remained pretty ambiguous. Can you shed any light on what those positive developments are?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the month extension, because that's really all I've got for you. Sorry, I'd like to have more, but really that's all I know from that point of view.
But the fact that they've given Derby and the administrators a month extension would suggest that the EFL believe there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is a potential solution to this. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I think the issue which has been there is, as I said, is the Middlesbrough and Wycombe claims, which it's frustrating for everyone, for myself, for the fans, because all we want is to have a fair shot at things and have a fair crack at this league, and obviously that's hampering how we work. But as I keep saying, the most important thing is this football club, the future of this club, and I really do think it needs to. People need to really be sensible in this, because I think it is getting a bit out of hand.
You mentioned right at the start a really important stat, a really important fact that you'll want to hear and that the supporters will want to hear, that you don't have to sell any players. We've been told that Bournemouth have made a formal bid for Tom Lawrence now, and it could be worth about £1.5 million to Derby. Is that right?
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm not sure if there's a bid or what that bid is. I'm not really concerned on that. I've just come off the phone with the administrators, and they've reassured me that Tom Lawrence won't be going. So that's pleasing, because he's a player I want to keep. So yeah, that's where we're at.
And look, it's your call. You said the administrators gave you, power of veto over any sales. So you're adamant Tom Lawrence will not be leaving Derby in the next few days. He won't be leaving before the end of this window.
Yeah, and that's what I've said. The administrators have said to me, any players leaving will be coming through me, and they've reassured me now that Tom Lawrence won't be leaving, and so I'm pleased with that, and we prepare for the game on Sunday.
Good stuff. Last one from me, Wayne, if that's okay. Specifically on the game, it's a big old game, isn't it? I mean, you lost a bit of momentum in the defeat to Forest after a heck of a run that you'd put together. So do you see this as a big opportunity against a side that are really struggling themselves?
Yeah, it's a chance for us to get 3 points, of course, and obviously Birmingham and in a great run of form. They might be low in confidence, but I think getting the draw against Peterborough in the last game, getting 2 late goals will certainly lift that confidence a little bit. And they've got players who can win the game for them. So we know we have to be our best to win. We're not taking anything for granted. It's going to be a tough game. So we're not taking it lightly, and it's an important game. We've got a good run of fixtures now where we feel we can pick up quite a few points, which should leave us in a good position. So then fixtures start on Sunday, and we'll be doing everything we can to get 3 points.
Good man. Best of luck. Thank you.
Hello, Wayne. On Tom Lawrence, have you spoken to the player? Have you kept him abreast of the situation and Bournemouth's interest? And is he perfectly happy to remain with you and as your captain?
Yeah, I've spoke to Tom. Listen, and no point in hiding. There's been conversations, and I think his agent has been pushing on with the administrators. But Tom is captain of this football club. He's having a fantastic season. And there's no issue with me and Tom whatsoever. So the administrators have reassured me he won't be going, and that's where we're at.
And the rest of your players, are they talking about the off-field situation when you passing them in training, when they're in the canteen? Is everything being talked about, or are they trying to stay out of it?
Yeah, of course. There's players who ask questions, and I think the good thing we have is we have a lot of young players who maybe don't understand it all, so they don't ask questions. But certainly the more senior players who do understand it and maybe are coming towards the end of the career, of course they ask questions, and as I've always done, I try and answer them questions as honestly as I can to them.
Last time you were in front of us all, you were heavily linked with the vacant Everton job. That talk seems to have cooled slightly. Indeed, reports that you asked not to be in the interview process. Can you shed any light on that? Is that true?
Yeah, well, Everton approached my agent and asked me to do an interview for the vacant job, which I turned down. I think, as I've said, I believe that I will be a Premier League manager. I believe I'm ready for that 100%. And if that is with Everton one day in the future, that would be absolutely great. But I've got a job here. I'm doing at Derby County, which is an important job to me, and that means me getting the team ready for Sunday.
How much thinking then did you have to do? Because that must have been a big deal for you. We know how much Everton means to you, the attraction of being a Premier League manager potentially. Did you have to think long and hard about that? Yeah,
of course I did. Listen, and they got in touch with my agent. My agent let the administrators know as well. And yeah, of course, it was a very difficult decision for me. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you. On the game on Sunday, on a scale of 0 to must win, where would you say it is on that scale, bear in mind where you are on the table?
Yes, I think we go into every game trying to get 3 points. We lost a game last week, but in theory we didn't lose our position in terms of the teams immediately above us or lost. So we're still in a very good position in terms of we feel, as I said before, the next 6 games we can pick up some good points in them games, and that starts on Sunday. So if we want to keep on track of what we've been doing, then of course we have to get 3 points.
You'll have 30,000 plus there on Sunday. Could be another really emotional afternoon. It'll be the highest attendance in the Championship this season. It's going to be a huge boost for you, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And as I've said all season, the fans have been great to myself, to the players, showing the support every week, home and away. So it's great. Hopefully it is a sellout, and I've no doubt them fans will get right behind the players and they'll give everyone a lift, and hopefully we can reward them, the fans, with 3 points.
This sort of ties in with the answer you just gave about the Everton job, but you are a shining light to the fans at the moment. You're up there as their beacon of hope throughout this. I wonder how much pressure you're feeling because of that. You're the person that fronts up to most of this, and therefore the fans are seeing you as some almost a guardian angel guiding them through all of this.
It's the first time I've been called that. So no, listen. I think the fans see what we're trying to do, and we're trying to do our best. And yeah, of course, there's pressure with any job. I'm trying to do my best to get the players as good as they can be on the pitch. And I think what the fans want to see is players who are playing for the shirt, and they've seen that all season. I believe, and they're seeing some quality amongst the players. Some young players come through the academy, which is great. We've done a young and old possession game today, and in the old team we have Max Baird, Jason Knight, Hannon. So it shows actually the average age of our squad.
Who won?
The old team always win.
Okay, fair enough. Last one from me, Wayne. Christian Bielik, great to see him back on the pitch for the under-23s. How pleased are you with his progress? When are we likely to see him in your first team? Yeah,
I've been really pleased with his progress, actually. He's had a very good week in training this week, and there's a possibility we might see him involved on Sunday. That's something I still have to make a decision on, but there is a possibility he could be involved.
Great stuff. Appreciate it, Wayne. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne. Hope you're well. Good to see you. You're up against Birmingham, obviously, this weekend. They've had their own fan protests this week at the ownership. And this is becoming a fairly common thing in football these days. I'm just wondering, from your perspective, bearing in mind, obviously, in extreme circumstances, players' jobs are on the line and fans getting upset and fans wondering whether they even have a club or how the club is being run. What do you think needs to change?
I think just you abide by the rules and you're not in this position. So, no, listen, I think, everyone, I think throughout the last few years, we're seeing some very big football clubs putting themselves financially in trouble, and it needs to change, whether that's... listen, I'm not the person to be talking on this. I'm sure the EFL, the Premier League, are discussing the possible outcomes and how they can change to make sure clubs don't allow themselves to get put in this position.
Do you think the gap financially in the price of the Premier League is too great in comparison to the Championship? Do you think that's one of the main issues that we've got?
Yeah, I think you have clubs, obviously, who chase that dream of playing in the Premier League, and financially it's a huge gap. So if you gamble and you go for it doesn't pay off, you end up, obviously, where we are today. And I think some clubs have been run in a better way, where they can cope financially with the Championship, or they can cope, obviously, if they don't make it into the Premier League, because they've done it in a clever way, which allows them to still compete, still challenge to get into the Premier League, but also financially to secure if they don't.
You got asked the question just before, really, about whether the players are talking about this in the changing room or whether there's a focus on the pitch. You've obviously played for two very high-profile clubs, at least, and especially in England, Everton and Manchester United, different ownership, different situations. Is it something that generally players spoke about? Who was in the boardroom? What was going on in the boardroom? How the club was doing in terms of finances? Was it something that you spoke about or ignored or even were involved with that you can remember?
Not really. I think when I first joined Manchester United, obviously there was protests against the Glazers when I first joined, and it's something, of course, you can't ignore. But really, as a player, you focus on what you're doing on the pitch. And I think, obviously, now at Derby, it's a lot different in terms of we really don't know the outcome of what's going to come, whether that's the club's still here, whether that's we can push on and for next season. We don't know the outcome, so that's the difference. And from my point of view, that's where, as well as the fans, but myself, we all need assurances of where this club's going, because that's important, not only to the fans but for me and the players.
Just the last one from me, Wayne. I don't know if you've driven much around Derby and seen the signs supporting the club, and obviously there's been a lot of rallying from supporters too. I wondered how it makes you feel knowing there's so much support for you from all corners really of the city. And it's not just Derby fans too, of course, there's football supporters from all walks of life, all different teams, getting behind the club, not wanting it to go out of business. But of course, it still remains a bit of a risk for Derby fans. They're still wondering if come May they'll have a team to support at all. What would be your message to them as well? And how does all of that other thing, how do they make you feel?
Yeah, listen, I think message to the fans is keep supporting us. We'll keep doing our best on the pitch to make the fans proud. We'll keep working and doing our job and trying to get results and try and get this team in the league. The stuff off the field obviously is out of our control, and as I said, we all, me included, want assurances from the administrators, EFL, whoever that needs to be, to give us assurances that this club can move forward, and hopefully that comes. Well, it needs to come as quick as possible.